Congratulations for entering this space today, where you have realized that your system is at its capacity. So today we're going to use movement and meditation as a way of self-regulation. And just a very quick history lesson, and I'm going to keep this as concise as possible because we could talk about it forever. Mammals, from the very beginning of time, we have a system in our body that continuously scans the space that is around us for survival. You can hear, you can see, you can sense, you can perceive, and the nervous system gets activated, the sympathetic nervous system, and causes us to either fight, flight, or freeze. The whole limbic processing system fires off alarms throughout the body, which releases adrenaline and cortisol for us to either do one of those response mechanisms. We get out, we fly, we can fight, or we freeze. And when we do freeze, we still have this same level of cortisol and adrenaline within the body, but there's no off-ramp for it. So fast forward to today, and we still have all of these threats around us. You know, you could get hit by a car outside, or someone could be chasing you, or whatever. But sometimes the system can also perceive other things as threats. You could be reading something on Instagram and get offended by it. And the whole system gets activated, and then we're in reaction, which can often lead to regret, which hooks us into a pain cycle. And that pain cycle can then seep out into anger and frustration and aggression and other kinds of reaction. So this class today is to allow you to release some of this pent-up energy that might be in your physical. So we can see what happens when we allow ourselves to just breathe, to notice what is present, to notice what is true in our presence, and then dissolve the rest of it. Okay? So let's begin to just allocate ourselves in this time and in this space. We will meet in a child's pose place. So let's have you take your knees as wide as your mat, if you're on a mat. If not, just bring your knees as wide as possible. Sit your hips back towards your heels, and then you're going to reach your arms all the way forwards and down. And you just allow your back body to melt in towards your front body. And then your front body is going to be cradled by your thighs. You're going to drop the prefrontal cortex of the brain right into the center of your skull. And then close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, you notice what's there at the surface level. You become aware of yourself being aware. So I want you to really notice yourself from that witnessing presence. The part of you that might be expressing those emotions and frustrations and percolations. But know that inner dialogue is an expression of the psyche and not the soul. Yes, your mind is moving. The world out there is unfolding. But your sea of consciousness is transcendent to that. So it's something that we can watch, not something that we have to attach to. And know that your brain is always going to want to over-exaggerate and over-analyze and over-emphasize whatever it is that you've got going on right now. But just notice that narrative. Try to stay out of any stories. drop back into the presence of your breath. Feel the breath massage the kidneys, the adrenals as you breathe in. I feel the front body, the chest cavity, your heart space soften as you breathe out. Let's do that again. Breathe, this velveteen quality. Breathe out. Let's take one more cycle like that. So big belly breath in. Full cleansing breath out. All right, now close the mouth. Begin to regulate through nasal breathing, in and out from the nose. And then with this breath, we'll start to turn the hands down, lift yourself into all fours position, so a tabletop pose. And from here, we'll work into the hips, since that is going to be the target region of today's practice. So let's have you extend your left leg all the way out to the left, in line with your hip joint. You're going to point your toes forwards, bend your knee, and then we'll introduce some rotations into your hip socket. Breathing in. Exhale and cueing this opportunity of undoing, of unknotting, of unclogging that unwanted energy that might feel pent up. Permission to move. Good. Now you're going to keep your left leg exactly where it is, so straighten it out. We'll add in a twist and a bind. So you're going to reach your right arm all the way up. I want you to feel the right side of your body, your rib cage, your lung expand as you breathe in. As you breathe out, post the right arm under the left. As if there was a weight attached to your right shoulder, you're going to drop it down. Soften through the right side of your face. And maybe, this is optional, the left hand might even want to lift up. The left arm can wrap around your back, and you can just reach for whatever feels in reach, whatever feels accessible. Maybe your pants, your hip, your quad. And then let's just realign for a moment. So what tends to happen is we can kind of just dump all the weight into that left side. So lift up through the right hip right now and lower the left hip. Good. And then this can facilitate more depth through your torso. So then we can twist, and the twist really stimulates and supports and also helps us dissolve that scarcity mindset. Because at the end of the day, our thoughts really are this currency. So if what you're constantly doing is like holding and suppressing, then you are congesting your systems. So let's just open the systems. Let's open the spinal columns. Let's curate and cultivate more space today. You breathe in. Spacious breath out. Good. Let's start to bring the hands back under the shoulders from here. Step the left knee underneath the hip, and we'll just work into the opposite side. I'll just reposition since I don't have much space next to me. So the right leg's going to reach out. You're going to point the toes forwards, and then you're going to bend into your knee. Kind of like stirring a big pot with your hip joint. Getting into those nooks and crannies. And if you want to linger through a certain part of this opening, then go ahead. We're just introducing ourselves into this practice. All right, now keep the right leg exactly where it is. We add in the twist again. So this time the left arm's going to shoot up like an arrow. You breathe in. As you breathe out, thread the left arm under the right. Allow the left shoulder to really soften down. And then maybe the right arm lifts up. And you wrap the arm around the back. And then again, just bring your brain into your hip girdle. Lift up the left side of your hip so you can create more space through the left side of your waist. And then drop the right hip down. And by consequence, you should feel this activate through your navel center, your solar plexus. So twist into that region. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Let's start to come back into all fours position from here. A tabletop pose. And then just go ahead and sliver your hands a few inches further forwards. You're going to curl your toes under and then push your hips up and back. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Now I'm just going to hit a timer for 60 seconds whilst you just do whatever needs to be done right now. So just pedal the feet. You can shift yourself forwards and backwards. You can extend one leg, extend the other, reach hand to opposite ankle. Just use these initial moments as an opportunity for you to just begin this process of dissolving that topical layer that is lingering on your skin. Okay, my love, start to look forwards and then walk your feet forwards to the top of the mat. So easy does it. Land those feet underneath your hips. And then let's have you start to tuck the chin in and roll yourself all the way through to stand. Now, once your head lifts, you can absolutely close your eyes right now, but we're going to start to drop deeper into the body. So to start, I want you to just pick up left foot, stomp it down. Pick up right foot, stomp it down, and left and right. So you can just do this a few times, bringing the left side, right side of the brain into this practice. Now, some of this energy that came up, if you have a tendency to freeze, we're going to bring it up right now and we're going to stomp it out. So begin to stomp out through the body. Make those stomps a little bit more vigorous. And then you can move your arms a little. Maybe the hips want to get more involved. Start to feel into that energy inside of the body. Let it feel a little bit more unconventional now. What has been taking up some space, my friends? And you know what I'm talking about, right? That engagement with someone. That thing that you haven't been able to stop thinking about, the blame, the shame, the finger pointing, what they said, what they didn't say, all of the opinions. Let's start to bring it up and then let's bring it out. So you can absolutely keep moving with this stomping and just getting deeper into your body. Or if you want to light it up a little bit more, we're going to take a few jumps. Up and down and all around. So get out of your mat. Get off the mat. Get out of the box, out of the constraint. We're going to use sound as well to ungunk some of that unspoken. So you can allow almost like a roar or a belch or a scream or a laugh or a shout to move through the body. Let things start to come up. You can play around with your movement that you've never ever done before. Get into those real nooks and crannies. Shake your body as if you're like shaking out a blanket. That's it. Last 10. 8. Go even bigger, get even weirder. 6. 4. Last 2. All right, top of the mat, just land into your body. Take your hands to your body, close your eyes. Just create some awareness around those intense spaces and places. And then give yourself permission to self-regulate, to reconnect before action or reaction, because we've all been on both sides of that equation, the one who has done or the one who has had it done too. So now we let it all become undone until the undoing becomes an unveiling. Breathe in. Breathe out. moves. Let's move from this clearer space. You're going to press through your feet and reach your arms all the way wide and up. Inhale. Let's emphasize this room that you're in. Exhale, fold into yourself. Halfway lift, breathe. Take yourself into high plank as you breathe out. From high plank, shift yourself slightly forwards and then lower either knees or high plank to low plank. Breathe yourself into a back bend. Breathe out into downward facing dog. All right, let's continue to move things through and out. Extend the right leg back behind you. Now step the right foot to the outside of your right wrist using the help of your oblique muscles. Once the foot lands, we're going to work into a pose called Jaguar. You're going to bend your elbows, dip your head down, and then lift up your chest. So really allow the hips to sink deep in here. We hold so much tension. We store so much emotion in the hip. So let the hips drop. And with that dropping action, let it have this echo chamber into the mind. Dropping the thinking thoughts, dropping the anticipations, the expectations, the trepidations. Breathe. Breathe out. All right, now from this jaguar shape, we're going to send the hips back. You're going to lengthen out your hamstrings to a capacity that feels accessible. So you can absolutely have some micro bends in the knees. No shame in that game. All we're going to do is pulsate between those two shapes. So let's bend the elbows, dip the head down, lift up the chest, jaguar, breathe in. Breathe out, hips back. 2 more. Inhale to jag. Exhale to this version of a pyramid. 1 more. Breathe. Breathe out. Now listen, your hips are pushing back. You're going to move in that direction. Your hands are going to swim all the way to the back of your mat. You're going to position your right hand under your right shoulder, pivot and maneuver onto the ball of the right foot, and then wing your left arm up and then back behind you. As you do so, you have the option to pivot onto the sides of your feet. Now I want you to sink into your right hip, lift through your left outer hip, and reach your left arm back behind you. Again, we're going to pulsate. So the left arm's going to come up and over as you breathe in. Try to really stretch out through the left side of your body. As you exhale, send the arm back. Let's just do 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Clearing your channels, opening your systems. 1 more. So nice, my loves. Now start to set the hand all the way to the ground. Pivot onto the ball of the right foot and take yourself into a high plank position. From high plank, you lower. As you lower, you lift. Cobra or upward facing dog. Breathe. Breathe out to downward facing dog. All right, once you arrive in downward facing dog, just come back to your breath. This beautiful opportunity and ability for us to self-regulate. It's like we're clicking and flicking on that self-healing mechanism within. So breathe in, breathe out. All right, let's take this into the left side. So extend your left leg back behind you as you inhale. And then step the left foot to the outside of the left wrist as you exhale. Once the foot lands, we're going to bend the elbows, drop the head down, and then lift up the chest. Let's just hang out here so we can really sit deep into that hip girdle of yours. Keep the lower belly hugging in to protect the lower back and pull the shoulder blades back so your chest is moving in between your biceps. Breathe. Breathe out. Now go ahead, push the hips back. Just start to straighten out the hamstrings into your flexibility, your capacity. And then let's move and manipulate energy as we transition between those two positions. So bend the elbows, dip the head down, lift up the chest, breathe in, jaguar. Breathe out, hips push back. 2 more. Inhale, jag. Exhale, pyramid. 1 more. Breathe. Breathe out. Now your hips are pushing back. We're moving in that direction. Your hands are going to swim all the way to the front of the mat. Now imagine your mat, your body, yourself is a blank canvas, and you are now curating. You are captain of your ship. We're moving and manipulating that energy. Now as the hands come to the front, position left hand under left shoulder, and then the right arm is going to reach up and then back behind you. As the hand reaches back, turn onto the outer edge of that left foot and the knife edge of the right foot and lower your hip. Yes, you are targeting your right IT band. I can feel it right there with you. Now as you breathe in, the arm's going to lift up. You're going to straighten out the left arm and lift through the right hip. Exhale, reach the right arm back behind you. Let's just go for 2 more. Full intention, full intensity. Breathe in. Breathe out. 1 more. Inhale, cleansing, clearing your systems. Exhale, washing, wiping, releasing. All right, now lift the arm up and over and strap yourself into a high plank. Move into this strong, stabilized container, and then you lower down. Lift yourself up, breathe in, cobra. Downward facing dog as you breathe out, and then drop to your shins. You can sit on your heels or you can move into child's pose. Place your hands on your lap or turn your palms upwards. Just close your eyes. Allow the regulation to take place. The pause, the peace, the choice of response rather than the impulse of reaction. And then just breathe right into the center of your brain. Breathe out from the center of your brain through the nostrils. Breathe in, nostrils to the midbrain. Breathe out from the midbrain to the nostrils. Stay with this self-healing, self-regulating mechanism. Now, if you need to stay here a little longer, then please do. If you're ready to work into a second side and a second set, you're going to come back with me into downward facing dog. So we'll take a sweet sun salutation in between the rounds as always, and then we'll add some on for the second cycle. So look forwards, breathe in. Top of the mat, you breathe out. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold, exhale. Come all the way up as you breathe in. Lift the arms up high. Exhale, come all the way back down to ground. Halfway. High plank. Now, as you empty your lungs, you lower. And then you fill back up as you lift. Downward facing dog. Okay, we are going to add some on. Enjoy the ride. Let the breath accompany you on this magical carpet ride. You're going to lift up your heels as you breathe in. You're going to roll yourself forward to a high plank for this time, for this round. Let the hips come near your wrists and then lift up your chest. Wing your shoulder blades back and down so you're really puffing and fluffing through the heart space. Now start to lift the right toes. Engage through the inner seams of the thighs. Press through the pads of the fingers and extend the right leg back behind you into a 3-legged dog. Breathe in. As you breathe out, right foot to the outside of your right wrist. Okay, listen, you're going to drop this left knee down and you're going to swing the left foot over to the right. Your right arm is glued to the inner edge of your right thigh and the left arm's going to come up. So now we're in this deep, extended side angle shape, okay? If this feels a lot, then you can absolutely stay here. If you want to work with the binding that we was targeting at the start of the practice, the left arm's going to come around the back and the right arm is going to come under the right thigh and the right hand reaches to grab hold of the left. Now really pull the left shoulder back, lead through the crown, and then allow the right hip to hug under as the left hip peels back. Good. The third and final variation of this shape is to take it into compass pose. So the right hand will now be positioned under the right shoulder. The right forearm comes under the belly of the right thigh. You're going to lift up your right heel. Left hand reaches for the outer edge of the right foot and you pick up the foot. Now from here we start to extend the right hamstring forwards. You roll the left shoulder over the ear, lift up through the hips. We're going to hold for 3, 2, on 1. Let's come on out. Drop the foot. Swing the left foot back in line with the knee. Find your own exit strategy. And we're going to come back into Jaguar. Breathe in. As you breathe out, pyramid pose. Hips go back. Now continue to move to the back of the mat. Hands swim. Spin the toes. Realign the right hand under the right shoulder. And then lift the left arm up. Options. Okay, so option 1 is the same as that first round. The arm goes back. You're in this easy twist shape. Option 2, you turn the toes to the left. Option 3, you're going to take the peace fingers of your left hand, wrap the fingers around your big left toe, and then lift up your left heel. So we come into this split pose variation of Vashi, side plank. If that feels too much for your hamstrings, then you can always bend the knee and cup the palm of the hand on the kneecap. Pull the right side of your body into your left side and then lift up through the left side. Take one more breath. As we breathe out, we're going to move into a high plank and then continue to lower. With ease, with grace, remember that choice. We respond, which is moving from a place of grounding and purpose. Downward facing dog, rather than moving from a place of emotion and reaction. Take the reins of your breath, slow it down, inhale, exhale. Final side, final round, and then it is on the road to deeper regulation. From downward facing dog, breathe your heels up and then roll yourself forwards. Lower your hips, lift up your chest, so you're in this floating upward facing dog. Really fine tune the details here, even though it's challenging. You press through the pads, through the balls of the feet, the toes, squeeze through the inner seams of the thighs. Now the left foot is going to start to lift off the ground. Push and press yourself. Left leg high, you're in a 3-legged dog. Now foot comes to the outside of the left wrist. Once the foot lands, lower your right knee and swing the right foot over to the left. Reach your right arm up and we'll move into this side angle shape. Okay, now you find your position, your pose that you need yourself to be in. If this is enough, then stay. If you want to play around with the bind, right arm comes around, left arm under the thigh, and this is a nice way to target your shoulder girdle, which also by default, by design, holds a lot of tension. So let's roll the right shoulder back. Let's try to straighten out the arms as we pull on the hands. Level 3, left hand releases and moves under the left shoulder. Right hand clasps to the outer edge of the left foot. You lift up the foot, you send the foot forwards and you roll the right shoulder over the earlobe. Stay lifted through the hips. Stay long through the breath. Find that steady cadence. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now drop the foot if you lifted it. Let's come all the way back. Realign yourself accordingly, appropriately, and then let's move into Jaguar. Breathe in. Pyramid pose, breathe out. The hips are pushing back, you're moving in that direction to the front of the mat. Hands move and manipulate you. Left hand under the left shoulder, turn the toes now to face forwards and the right arm's going to reach up. Options. There is an option for all of us. You can stay. You can spin those tootsies to the right, or you can take yourself into side plank. The right foot can step on the left. You can grab hold of the right knee, or the peace fingers of the right hand can clasp around the big right toe. Recruit the left side of your body. You lift up. Maybe you can try to look up. Hold for 3. Last 2. On 1, high plank position. You are doing amazing. You lower. Lift yourself up. Breathe in. Push yourself into child's pose as you breathe out. Whew. Take a few moments here with your palms upwards, and you can even rock your hips sideways. Feel your forehead connect to the earth. The front of your forehead, scan it. Move into the left side of the forehead. The temple. And then move all the way over to the right temple. And then release the front of the brain towards the forehead. You inhale deeply. Exhale completely. From child's pose, start to roll your spine all the way back up. So you come to sit on your heels. Then let's have you just sway your hips over to one side and swing your legs forwards and round. Let those legs go really long right now. We're going to work into Pashimotanasana, which is a beautiful place to fully ground. So we'll establish the hip bones down. Lift the hand bones up. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, reach your arms forwards and down. Try to lift up out of the lower back and then really fold into yourself. Close your eyes. And we'll just take a few rounds of breath here to steady the cadence, the pace of the thoughts, the thinking. It's almost like that breath is a piece of velvet right now. Scanning through the front of your body as you inhale. Allowing you to soften a layer even more as you exhale. Velvet breath in. Velvet breath out. And then bring that velveteen quality around your heart. And allow the heart to release the rest. Breathe. Breathe out. Start to roll yourself all the way back up through to a seat. Then we're going to lie ourselves down onto our back. And you're going to take as much time as you need here. And as you lie yourself down, notice if it feels any different. Your body, your heart, your capacity. Using the full capacity of your lungs, take a breath in. Breathe out. Allow your right knee to come into your chest. And then your left knee. Squeeze both knees in and rock yourself up. Come into a seat. And then just allow your hands to meet. As you notice your essence, you notice your soul, your blueprint. And just know that your mind gets full. But underneath the density is the purity. Now may you lead from this purer, calmer place throughout the rest of your day. And as I bow to you, I say namaste. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through this work, and thank you for being receptive to the work. Remember, we all have a capacity, and when you feel yourself teetering on that level of reaction, well, that's when we turn inwards for regulation. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being on this ride of regulation, of self-regulation with me. See you next time.